Hey, how's it going? Today we're gonna play some games with Blastoise EX. Now I saw this deck in like the top 16 of a couple Limitless online tournaments, so I wanted to give it a try. I switched it up quite a lot from the original deck list that I saw. Like the original list only had a 1-1 Blastoise and was more focused on Palkia throughout the game. It had like an energy switch. I kinda like get where the energy switch comes in, but I cut that because I wanted to just try and make it as consistent as possible and focus it more around Blastoise. So we have Blastoise EX is a 330 hit point, stage 2 water type Pokemon with an ability that it takes 30 less damage from attacks, and an attack for 2 water that does 140 damage for each water energy you discard in your hand. You can only discard 2 water energies, so you do 280 with this for 4 energy, I guess, but you only have to attach 2 of them. And we got Palkia that does 60 plus 20 for each bench Pokemon. And it has the Star Portal V-Star power that lets us attach 3 water energy from our discard pile to our water Pokemon in any way we like. So we use that to power up itself or the Greninja and also the Blastoise or the Squirtles, whichever they are. And we got Pidgeot to find our cards that we need. And I was going first with this deck because if you get down a Palkia V, you can attack on your second turn pretty consistently going first. So I was trying that out, but you could make an argument to go second. We also have the maximum belt so that Blastoise can one-shot a Charizard, which is nice, and it also helps like Palkia to one-shot a Pidgey or any other EXs. But other than that, the list is pretty straightforward. You're just trying to attack with Palkia, Blastoise, and Greninja and win. So let's get into the games. So I won the coin flip here and chose to go first. And we have a pretty awful hand till we top deck that Irida. But I'm just going to Vessel and get a water energy in the discard, get some more in our hand. Because we do want to try to get you want to try to get 3 water energy in the discard pile at the beginning of the game to use Palkia's ability as soon as you can to charge itself up or to charge up Greninja. Because the turn 2 Greninja attack is really powerful. That's probably the main reason that you want to go first with this deck, is that just being able to attack with Greninja when your opponent's only had 1 turn is like really powerful, and it gets worse the more the game goes. So you take the kind of mediocre starts like this for that trade-off, I guess. Or at least that's what I was thinking. I don't know. We'd have to ask someone that's played more games. I've probably played like 10 or 20 games with this deck, and I didn't go second in many of them. Like, going first just kind of always feels bad with every deck right now, just because you want to like get such like a wide setup. But alright, so up against Tina, they do get the Cram attack. With the Jet energies, Tina is pretty consistent in getting off Cram. And I top deck a Squirtle. That's like kind of a relief, because now I can get Manaphy and Pidgey with this Poffin. So definitely happy to see that. And this hand sucks. Other than that, this hand is absolutely terrible. And I'm just trying to like manifest more better cards into my hand, but it didn't work. So I'll get my Manaphy and my Pidgey. And attach, and I'm about to attack, but I'm thinking they got 4 cards in the lost zone already. That's pretty straightforward for them to get to 7 next turn and one-shot me with Tina. And if they do that, I just lose, so I just kind of hedge my bets and Star Portal to my Squirtle. Because one of the downfalls with this deck is that if you have no Palkia in play and you don't have an attachment from the turn prior onto your Squirtle, you can't attack with Blastoise, which kind of sucks. Maybe that's why the energy switches in the deck, so like when you have a free turn, you can just get an energy down somewhere and use it for later, but I don't know. That's like, a card like that is usually just like cover my misplay later on in the game cards, when you probably should have just had a way to attach to the correct Pokemon earlier, so I kind of shy away from stuff like that. Maybe it is better than I think, though. The reason that I was thinking it's really strong is because you can kind of like, you don't have to commit to 2 Greninjas in a row with the Star Portal, and you can still use it 2 turns in a row with the energy switch. But in these water decks, you really want to get ahead on attachments, so I don't know. But our hand sucks. We did get a Buddy Poffin out of the prizes, but there's not much more to get with it. I hold the nest ball just, I don't know, just to have more cards in my hand. Because I want to have enough cards to Superior if I get the chance, so that even though I have no water in the discard, like if my Palkia gets knocked out, I can nest ball for Greninja and Superior for the waters back and draw some cards with it. So I don't want to play all the cards out of my hand right away, and yeah, they have 110 on my guy, so I don't know what they're planning on here, because that doesn't add up to Tina V's Shred attack. It would have been nice if like they had 120 on me, then they could knock me out with Shred. But they Greninja away a Psychic when they had the guaranteed knockout. So, but then they get a Colress. I don't know, what we really don't want to see this turn is Sableye. That's like the most terrifying thing, is if they could Sableye right now. But we're kind of hoping they can't do that. And with the way that Tina is, I just never concede until like the game's actually lost, because I don't know, Tina players online tend to just like cook themselves out of their deck. So like they only have 11 cards already and they haven't done much. They've attacked with Cram twice. But they use a switch to keep the Jet energy in play. That kind of makes sense because you're lost zoning cards with Tina, so you want to have extra energies in play. And I top deck a Pidgeot. I wish I had a rare candy in hand. And I nest ball for the Greninja now just to, I don't know, get the card out of my deck and, I don't know, feel like I did something for a turn other than just give my opponent more time to make plays. But them missing the attack out of greed the last turn is just not very good for them, because they wanted to either Sableye or Star Requiem me. I'm not sure which one. They didn't want to Lost Zone 2 energy to knock this guy out because it already had damage on it, and it cost them to end up behind a turn. And now they Roxanne us. It's also possible they were waiting for that. I don't know. But the Roxanne is good for me because my hand was dead. I wasn't doing anything. That at least gives me another like chance to draw better cards. They waste their V-Star. They really just had to save the V-Star for Blastoise. Maybe they don't know how much HP Blastoise has and about the ability. And I was thinking I want a Roxanne there, but I have to hit Candy Blastoise to, you know, have much of a chance, I think, at this point. So I thin out my deck, the rest of my energies, and I Greninja, and I hit nothing. So now all I can do is attach and hope that I flip heads on Squirtle's withdraw attack, because it says like Squirtle can't be knocked out by damage, or can't have damage done to it next turn if I flip heads. And I get pretty lucky, I flip heads. But either way, all I really want to finish out the game is one Blastoise, pretty much, because they're not going to be able to one-shot it, and I can just one-shot them twice. So they boss up my Manaphy. They're setting up for a Greninja play next turn to win the game, it looks like. Which is smart. They're saying, hey, you have to evolve at least 2 of your guys or get your Manaphy back, or I'm going to win next turn. That's a lot of pressure on me since I haven't been doing much all game. And I don't know. It feels like I've done nothing all game, but somehow like my deck was down to 24 cards, just drawing and attacking every turn. I guess I just took out all the energy, so that's kind of what thinned it out a little bit. But they get rid of the water and the jet, and that is kind of interesting choice of theirs. I figured they'd get rid of the Psychic or the grass because they already had 1 water in the Lost Zone, and I doubt they play 4 waters. That would be shocking. Well, I think most lists are playing 2 right now, but 3 at the absolute most. But anyway, I can Irida for Candy. I Greninja there. I was really hoping to hit Super Rod or Candy, so I could Irida for the other piece and get the Manaphy back in play, or if I could have just candied out 2 Blastoises, that also would have been fine, or Blastoise and a Pidgeot, whatever. But I just candy my Blastoise and yeah, Superior, and knock out their Tina. And I don't know what is happening here. If my opponent like I'm pretty sure they just realized that they can't knock out my Blastoise. They're not going to have 2 more turns, and they lost zone both their water energies, so they can't win with Greninja this turn, and they just decide to not do anything and sit there and just walk away from their computer or whatever, or maybe it crashed. I don't think they could have done anything to win the game. They don't have 2 turns. I can retreat and knock out whatever they put in the active, unless they play 4 water energies, but I've really never seen that be a thing before. So I think they just kind of got upset that they lost to a Blastoise deck, maybe. I'm not sure. And when they promoted the Greninja, I'm like, no way, there's no way they play 4 water. Come on, you gotta be kidding me. But they don't, they just pass. Since they did that, I'm gonna knock out their Tina and BM on them a little bit, even though they're probably not even at their computer. And we win the game that I thought there's no way I ever should have won. Alright, we're going first. They start a Manaphy, so I have no clue what in the world I'm up against, but I just decided to get down what I would consider the standard start. Get a Pidgey, a Squirtle, and a Palkia, and I'm just checking to see what's prized. I'm going to Nest Ball for a Palkia. Obviously, I could get Greninja and try and draw an out to Palkia, but they give me a thumbs up, so I'm like, that's interesting. And then they Buddy Poffin for 2 Pidgeys and play an Irida, and I'm like, there's no way. I've played tons of games on this game, and I've never run into a Palkia Blastoise deck. But they just get down to Palkia, so maybe it's just a Palkia deck. And I give them a thumbs up back, because, I don't know, this game's just so weird, like, the matchups that it puts you in based on what deck you're playing. I don't think that there's, like, could possibly be that advanced of an algorithm for matchmaking in this game. But it is really weird, the matchups that you get sometimes. Like this. What are the chances? We're probably the only 2 people online playing Pidgeot Palkia, and we get paired together. We're not even like in the same rank. I'm only in Ultra Ball right now. He's all the way in like the middle of Masters or High Masters. And I don't know, whatever. I attached to the Manaphy and Iono because I'm thinking that's like my most likely chance to attack is to retreat my Manaphy and hopefully get like Greninja and Water Energy and be able to use my V-Star power for like an energy at least on the Palkia and at least 1 energy on the Squirtle. So I do get Rare Candy Pidgeot or Rare Candy Blastoise, and I go with the Pidgeot and decide to go for the Greninja play to try and hopefully get another, or to get a Palkia V-Star, and then I could start attacking and load up my Squirtle. But I'm also kind of afraid to leave this Manaphy in the active, because there's always like a chance that my opponent plays Canceling Clone. Like in a deck with Palkia and Pidgeot, you can find a combo like that pretty easily, I would say. So I want to make them at least have to boss if they're going to Canceling Clone, knock out my Manaphy and my Squirtle. But they get down a second Palkia and evolve their Palkia to the V-Star and retreat, so they're definitely gonna get the play that I was hoping to get off this turn, or on my turn, but they also get the boss. Now that would have been a really good play if I could have bossed their guy, because they wouldn't have been able to attack this turn. And now I pretty much think that I lose, because I'm so far behind. They knocked down my only way to attack this turn. Really what I should have done, so what I wanted to happen was I could double attach to my Palkia and maybe like hit the switch card and attack with it and save Star Requiem. But in hindsight, what I should have done was attach to the Squirtle the first turn to, like, say, if I get out the Palkia V-Star, I'll be able to accelerate 2 energy to attack with it anyway. But if you knock it out, at least I still have this Squirtle to attack with. Because if I could attack with Blastoise this turn, I would just knock their guy out and I'd be in like a pretty powerful position. But I almost forgot to use Quick Search that turn. I saved it till the very end. You usually don't want to do that. You want to Quick Search before you play out your entire hand, so that, I don't know, it's just like proper practice, because sometimes you'll Quick Search for a card for next turn, and you don't want your opponent to know that you got a card for next turn. You want to like quick search and then play a bunch of cards out, so they're like, oh, they probably got one of those cards. I don't know which one they got, but one of them. But they get candy into their Pidgeot. And I'm just hoping to not see a boss. But I figure if they boss my Palkia, I still have Blastoise to attack with. Like, that guy's pretty much built up and ready to go. And if they boss my Squirtle, I can still attack with Blastoise through Palkia. But they just knock out the Greninja, so that feels pretty good. And I promote Pidgeot because it's got free retreat. I'm just gonna search for a rare candy because I already have the Blastoise in hand, so I might as well candy it out now and just hope that I hit like Vessel or Superior off of this Iona, because I am getting 6 off the Iona. And this is like bad here. I waste the Nest Ball because I don't remember what's in my deck. I kind of knew I had water in the deck, but I'm not confident about anything, so I always second guess myself, and I wanted to double check. Even though it really doesn't matter, there's nothing I could do if there wasn't water in my deck. And I'm debating using Star Portal here, but they can't one-shot my Palkia V-Star because it needs a full bench and a choice belt or choice band, whatever it's called, for Palkia to one-shot a 280 HP Pokemon. When we get the maximum belt off their prizes, I don't know. Like I said, I played... Oh, and they benched the Squirtle there, so I give them a smiley face because that's awesome. So now I'm kind of under the assumption, like I'm wondering if this is the original person, because not many people are playing this deck right now. So I'm like, oh, maybe this is the guy that I saw the list from on Limitless. That'd be cool. And then I was thinking, I don't think that list played TM Devo, so I don't have to worry about it. And then he TM Devo'd me. Kind of funny. So now this hand is really weird. I do have Lumineon for Irida, which is nice. I'm glad I got that off the prizes, I think. And it's a super weird play, but what I'm thinking here is that I can Lumineon for Irida for rare candy and whatever, and candy into Pidgeot, retreat into Palkia, evolve and counter catcher, and knock out their Pidgeot EX. That's kind of my plan right now. I think it's a pretty good plan, so I'm going to go for it. So I could just get another candy and use like candy into Blastoise, but I don't know. I'd rather them not have access to Pidgeot. It's less likely that they'd be able to pull off another Devo attack if they do even play Devo. And I actually get use out of the maximum belt. Out of all the games, like 10 or 20 games I played with this deck, probably more like 15 or 20. I never used the maximum belt one time. I somehow I missed Charizard the whole time, so I got use out of maximum belt. But of course they have candy Pidgeot in their hand. What a miracle. and Iono, just candy Pidgeot Iono. Literally, you couldn't have picked better cards. I guess you could have picked candy Pidgeot Roxanne, but that's the only better combination that you could have got. But now we see what the energy switch is for. It was for, like I was saying, where you could get down an attachment ahead of time before Squirrel's even in play, and then he could have just attached from hand that turn though. But his Iono gave me access to the cards that I needed to win the game, which I really just needed a way to get energy, and that's it. And I could Pidgeot for Irida. So we Blastoise attack and win the mirror match, which I never would have guessed that I'd be playing a mirror match with this deck. I don't know. This deck definitely has some potential. It's better than I thought it would be. Most of the time I spent playing it, I was playing on the casual ladder because I was trying to figure out how I wanted the list, if I should put a barrel in, like just figuring out all the cards. And then today I started playing it on the ranked ladder, and I won all the games I played. And these are the two like games where people didn't just straight up brick the whole time. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and maybe Blastoise is a real deck. It's got good stats. I think one of the main things holding back a deck like this is the TM Devo going around. Charizard is like one of the few decks stage 2 decks that can be immune to TM Devo because of the Charmeleon with the ability that makes it so it doesn't get affected by Devo. And like decks like Gardevoir, where you're evolving through the middle stage anyway, so you don't care if they Devo you, you just put the cards back down. That's probably the main downfall of this deck, but I don't know. It's got good stats. It one-shots a lot of stuff. Iron Hands, Future Hands is probably just the straight up auto loss. I couldn't find a good water energy using Pokemon to knock that out. But that's about it, so take care.